Gracious Creator, the cornerstone lies in the northeast corner, between the north, the place of darkness, and the east, the place of light. Thus it reminds us that we are ever to be progressing from darkness to light, from ignorance to knowledge. This week's episode of the Cornerstone podcast is the third and final part of a three-part series presented by Worshipful Brother Douglas Evans III, Grand Historian of the most worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge of Georgia, on the history of Freemasonry in the Atlanta metro area. In this third part, Brother Evans discusses the Prince Hall Masons' influences on the sweet Auburn community.
Alright, everybody know what today's date is?
Right here, listen.
Everybody gather around. Everybody know what today's date is?
22nd.
Okay. Anything that y'all know historically happened on today?
Come here, Avery.
Anybody tell me something? Good. Has anybody heard of the 1906 riots? You heard of it? Yeah. Alright. You know what caused it?
Something happened in the city when falsely accused of something they could do, and then the white Israel accused. It was a split in race as far as what actually happened.
Alright.
They went through peaceful recording.
That's basically it. Everybody know what we just saw Thursday with the Jenna demonstration. Nothing really changed since then. In 1906, there was a riot 101 years ago to this day. It happened September 22nd. That's why I want the young folks to remember this date. September 22nd, 1906. If you came out of your house or your business on that day, you was in trouble. So 101 years ago to this day is commemorated. So it's really appropriate that we here on this day. This is a Creative Loafing cover from last year at the 100th anniversary. And this is an art painting that the French did in their newspaper, showing how heinous that riot was. And basically, it was alleged that somebody looked at a white woman the wrong way. The reason that I'm bringing this up is because in 1905, that is when the Building Association was formed. In 1905 was when all of these businesses were thriving around here. This is what was ticking off white folks. The Masons had this all on lockdown. You couldn't get a musician to come in town without going through B.B. Beamer, who was in W.C. Thomas Law. You did not have black police officers until 1948 because of John Wesley Dodge. That's why you know why we all have to be registered voters to be a Mason or an Eastern Star. It's because John Wesley Dodge promised the mayor, I give you 10,000 votes if you give me some black police on Auburn Avenue. So he said, I can get you 10,000 by registering the Masons. And to this day, we still registering Masons to vote. Okay? It was a political movement that Dodge did. Let me give you some more things that happened on those dates. Now, the riot was in 1906, but in 1905, A.F. Herndon started Atlanta Life up the street, right on this street. 1904, Rucker, who was a charter member of W.C. Thomas, first senior ward, started his office building right up the street. That was in 1904. Now, had it not been for the Masons and the business money down here, wouldn't have been no riot from 1906. So it's very appropriate that on this day we observe black folk and their business interests. And when we segregate it, we start losing all of that. Now, if you all get a chance, would you please read the caption that's put in the sculpture. This was donated in 1996 along with the Olympics. We had a big Masonic celebration we locked down this whole block. If you was the mayor, you had on your Masonic apron. I think Marvin Arrington was riding around here with his shrine and stuff on. This was one of the biggest celebrations I ever seen. And it was to commemorate John Wesley Dodd. Now, if we were to go a block up the street, I told him we was gonna come by, but I don't know if we really want to take this many people on foot. But a block up the street, we had the Auburn Avenue Police Precinct. All right, that's because of Grandmaster Dodd. Across from that, you have the Hanley Funeral Home. Has anybody seen it? Get on the expressway? All right, you get on 7585, you will see Hanley's Funeral Home. That's where we used to meet before we got this building built. The most significant building, though, on this street is the Oddfellows building, right across from there. That's where we used to meet before we met in the Hanley Funeral. Now, last thing on that, the Oddfellows building was built by Benjamin Davis, who was the person that wrote the Atlanta Independent. All right? And he was so militant, white folks was really literally scared of him. All right? And that was the only movie theater in Atlanta that black folk didn't have to sit in the balcony. So if you can just think back in your mind, there was no MARTA buses, there was no cars on the street, there was no street road. This was a Western town, but the Masons were still meeting there. If you look up under this bridge, that would have been the first Masonic building. Most of us didn't know was torn down, was right there, 221 Auburn Avenue. When we lost that building, we started meeting at the Oddfellows, Hanley's Funeral Home, and up the street, Cox Funeral Home. So we had those three buildings until we got Dobbs to build 330 Auburn Avenue. But as far as the money goes, we had more money on this street, according to Forbes, than any other street in America. All right? All right? Before we go to our cars and head to Auburn, do you have any questions about this area? All right, well, let me just remind y'all. Gay City Drugstore, we mentioned Gay City Lodge. A member of Gay City Lodge named Moses Amos started Gay City Drugstore right in the Oddfellow building. All right, that was in 1914. But him, Grandmaster Butler, and another past master, Thomas Heath, started the drugstore as a group before they sold their interest to Moses Amos. And that was all the way back in 1889.
The Cornerstone podcast is produced by Charles Thomas, Darrell Hobson. Show notes from this episode of The Cornerstone can be found at www.wcthomas112.org/The Cornerstone. For questions or comments regarding The Cornerstone, please send emails to thecornerstone.podcast@gmail.com. Join the Cornerstone Google group if you would like to discuss this or any other topic from the podcast. The producers of the Cornerstone podcast would like to thank the host, James Glisson II. Music provided by Audio Jungle.